Forgotten Australians are the group who grew up in out-of-home care. They were people who were either placed in orphanages, were in foster care, spent some part of their childhood in an institution-based system.
Complex trauma is different from a single incident trauma, which is what we normally see when we think about post-traumatic stress disorder. So complex trauma happens usually in childhood. It's ongoing. The trauma is perpetrated by somebody the child knows, so it's usually somebody in a position of caregiver.
This is a group that's an aging population. They have a great fear of going back into an aged care home, for example. If you've had the beginning of your life in an institution of some sort, you can imagine that their greatest fear is going to be being placed back into an institution.
As human beings, we've evolved to need consistent and trustworthy caregiving as children in order for the brain to develop. They have great difficulty in regulating the stress responses that we all have to stress, which is fight, flight, or freeze.
Things like being asked about family history, for example, which to someone else, just an innocuous question that they can answer quite easily. This group, of course, that is a question that can trigger them into quite a sense of panic, a place of shame because they don't have a family, even though it's not their fault.
The people around them were not safe. So for them to trust somebody in a position like a health practitioner or whatever, why would they?
How can we get healthcare professionals to recognize that when they ask those questions out loud, say they're at a front desk in a GP's office, and the well-meaning receptionist, she may say something to the effect of, "What do you mean you don't know your family history?" Well, I've known some of this client group to actually leave the office. They get so flooded around that issue and so embarrassed that they leave and then they never go back.
So one of the things I find really helpful in my work is to think about how does this person, if I were in their shoes, how would I see me? Yeah. And if I think about that, then I think, well, they wouldn't be seeing me as the me that I know. They'd be seeing me as somebody potentially who could dismiss them, disrespect them, abuse them. So one of the things that's really important in building trust in that relationship is firstly to take the time to think, how could I invite this person to let me know how this could work better for them? So what they want is really important, and in that respecting that they will need to go at their pace and make their choices. One of the questions might be, well, how can I support you in doing what is important for you in your life right now? Well, I think the most important thing to remember is that people who've experienced trauma, this kind of trauma as children, they can recover and heal. I think that's the most important thing.
They are an amazing group of people who have managed to survive an extremely difficult situation and have done it with great dignity.